This is Dr. Ravinder Singh, your friendly neighborhood neurologist, coming to you from my nearly deserted office in an almost empty building on Wilshire Boulevard in lovely and lonely Beverly Hills. And as you can see that I've changed my uniform somewhat. You like my new attire? I am adorned with this lovely bouffant cap to cover my turban that you can't see anymore. And it does go with my new lovely pink scrubs, right? You know, I haven't worn scrubs in like forever, at least since my residency, which was, let's see, over 2 decades ago. Wow, I'm becoming a fossil. Oh wait, I almost forgot. I have another accessory to my modern statement. Oh, here it is, a nice pink colored face mask. Now, that almost completes my outfit, right? Anyway, so it appears that this is going to be my new outfit with some variations that I will show off from time to time for the foreseeable future, as this coronavirus has really created a havoc all across the world. Now, who would have thought that a day would come when there would be a near complete global shutdown in our lifetime? I don't think anyone could have predicted it. And as the experts feverishly try to find a cure and save as much lives as possible, the rest of us are trying to find ways of surviving during this pandemic-induced crisis. And I'm doing my part, although I'm nowhere near the front lines of fighting this epidemic. I am not an ER or an ICU physician, but I still have to see my patients both in the hospital and the office. You know, just because the coronavirus has taken over the world doesn't mean that people are not suffering from other conditions like they did before. Now, in the office, we have quickly adopted telemedicine, seeing patients remotely by phone or a video conferencing platform. But in a hospital, we got to protect ourselves, and that's why we have to change our uniform to the one that you see now. So I wanted to take a few minutes addressing something that the media has so far not really addressed, and that is the stress this pandemic is causing and how to minimize the negative effects of it. Now, of course, this is a very vast topic, but I will try to address only those issues on which I can provide some insight. Now, one of the things we're facing about the coronavirus is the uncertainty surrounding it. No one really knows what the eventual outcome is going to be. And that fact causes a lot of anxiety. When we don't know something, we become anxious, and naturally we want to find answers. And we want answers so we can be safe. And left unchecked, this anxiety can turn into full-fledged panic. And we did see some evidence of how panic can affect us when it seems everyone was fighting over toilet paper. Actually, I recently found something about toilet paper that I think is worth talking, but I will leave that for a future blog. As you know, I'm from India, and one of the things that Eastern philosophy teaches us is to become comfortable with uncertainty. In fact, the desire for certainty causes us to suffer more than the uncertainty itself. If you really think about it, how certain are you about anything in life? Even when your life is somewhat predictable, it starts and ends with uncertainty. Anything can change in an instant. So the first thing to remember is that certainty is an illusion. Now think about it for a second. Is there any moment in time when you are really certain about something? About how things are going to unfold and what the outcome of anything is? Even when you prepare for everything, there is always some unpredictability, and you cannot control for everything. There are never any guarantees. Now, usually, uncertainty comes in small doses, but the current pandemic has brought a lot of factors together. Financial insecurity, lack of ability to socialize face-to-face, not being able to go to the gym and exercise, and even lack of basic necessities. Now, add on top of it a lot of free time to check the news about the virus 1,000 times a day. And it doesn't help that every virus-related death is proclaimed by every news channel the moment it occurs. Talk about feeding the panic. And it's not going to be over soon. We are told that we may have to be locked down from anywhere from 3 to 8 months, depending on who you listen to. So you really need to be mentally prepared to cope with this life for at least 4 to 6 months, and maybe even longer. And even the more resilient among us are going to have to call upon all our resources to avoid letting the stress get to us and becoming depressed and anxious. And it is going to affect every single one of us in one way or the other. Maybe someone we know will be hospitalized in critical condition or even die from it. Almost all of us have been affected economically, but some of us will go broke and lose more than others. Now that's the bad news. And I bring this up because we have to be realistic about it. Part of learning how to cope with the situation is to see the situation clearly for what it is. Burying your head in the sand is not going to make the problem go away. The reality is reality. You can't cope with it without first accepting it. But you know what? It is really about how we address this uncertainty. We can either be terrified by it or become excited by it, or at least become comfortable with it. Now, the only thing you have some margin of control over is how you will act or react to life. You can either become proactive or be reactive. So one of the first things you can do is to focus on what is relatively certain in your life. Focus on the things that you have, the people in your life, your health, both physical and mental. Count your blessings. The things you have are the gifts you have been given. Reconnect with people in your life. Appreciate the things that you have. And then think of the people in your life who do not have even the things that you do have now. Gratitude is the single best action you can take to counter the uncertainty. When you focus on your blessings, it puts things in perspective. I've had a chance to connect better with the teachings of my religion in these hard times. One of the lessons I have been taught is the following hymn from our scriptures, which I'm translating here. He obtains 10 things and takes them for granted. But for the sake of one thing withheld, he forfeits his faith. But what if that one thing were not given, and the 10 were also taken away? Then, O fool, what will you do? The Lord and Master is not easily swayed. Forever bow before him and accept his will. Unto whose mind God's will is sweet, all happiness comes to abide in his mind. One who abides by God's will, Nanak says, he obtains everything. Now, don't take things for granted. Count your blessings. Do not focus on what you don't have, but on what you do have. And as change comes, adapt to it, just like I'm trying to do in this pink garb that I'm wearing. Until next time, be enlightened.